Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Partnerships for Profit. I'm your host, Ana Del Rio, and this week we're joined by Brody Lee, the entrepreneur, strategist, and event visionary behind Beyond Impact. Thank you so much for being here, Brody. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. What an intro.
Well, I'm so glad that you're here. I told you I didn't want to get into all of the other stuff because you have some really cool things going on. But first, please tell our audience about you and about Beyond Impact and how that came about.
Yeah, for sure. So my background is I'm in instructional design, events and training. I used to work for Apple and I trained their leadership and executive teams. I was there from 2009 to 2018. And so on the tail end of Steve Jobs being there as well. And I was responsible for training their leadership and their executive teams how to sell one-to-many. So Steve did these amazing product launches and then broke our one-to-one selling model. You know, Apple was renowned for reinventing retail, where you got a specialist that was dedicated to you. And so we rolled out these strategies to support the store teams with, you know, how do we handle all of this traffic coming into the stores? And we would do like a person at the foot of a table with 40 people around them, facilitating those conversations. And I was part of the group that trained the leadership and executive teams across the Canadian market with that. And we onboarded new managers and leaders and trained them on that. And then when launch time came, I was responsible for training teams as well. So I had a PhD style education in selling from stage from the master Steve Jobs. And then
wow.
Yeah, like it was wow. Like I still, it's interesting. Like I've been in this space for the last 8 years in the coaching, consulting, and event space there, and it's only very recently that I've really started to own the Apple side of things. I was at an event in Cabo earlier this year, and about 20 minutes into the conversation, I mentioned this, and they're like, "Dude, you need to lead with that. That's your authority." Like, and I was like, "Oh, the experience that I've had with events, and like we've got 1,400 events, and like our clients have done over 125 million in revenue. We've got 15,000 hours of stage time between us and them." And I thought that was the authority, and he was like, "No, lead with Apple, and the rest of it's like happy side effects." I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, and it's really great. We get to work with some phenomenal human beings and with great at events. So I transitioned into this space after going to a Tony Robbins event in, I forget what year it was now, and I had a really big breakthrough at that event, and I was like, I really want like every day to feel like this. And then I was like, no, I want everyone to feel like this, and I made a commitment to make my life be about impact and supporting people to be superheroes, as I as I have here on my top. And I'm really deeply committed to the process of having a genuine impact on people's lives. I know that every single person on this planet is extraordinary, and I believe that every single person on this planet has at least one big planet-changing idea in them, whether it's through their business or outside of that. And so we support them with events that create experiences for people, or what we call revolutions disguised as gatherings. And my goal is to help people to be leaders in their field, to be categories of one, and to do it through the power of live or virtual events. I have a bias towards live events just because I feel like they're a lot more powerful. Yeah, so that's the short version of me. There's a whole sort of detail of what I went through before I transitioned into this industry, but I'm really blessed to be here and I'm just looking outside here. I'm in New York City. I moved from Australia last year, and I'm really blessed to be in this country and grateful that I get to expand the mission here.
That's so amazing. I love it, and I love how like genuine you sound. I don't know you yet, but I feel like we're going to be really, good friends. But I love the fact that, you've taken this as an opportunity and just absolutely ran with it. Now, I said that I didn't want to get into it, but you kind of led into this very early on, and I really kind of want to touch on it. You're doing some amazing things, and can you please tell us more about this mission that you have, this mission to space?
Yeah, so there's a few things here. The business is called Beyond Impact. And the reason I called it that is because I was very much aware that the word impact is kind of thrown around, and it's kind of been, for lack of a better term, it's been co-opted and it's been diluted I was going to say a word that was a little bit more colorful than that, but um, but but I think I really wanted to get people to start thinking about things beyond just the immediate impacts that they're having with their clients every
Mhm.
single day, with the work that they
Mhm.
do. It's
Right.
really important, like that, to really identify the type and scope of impacts you want to have with those people. But when I think about mission broadly and like people on mission, what we call it like being on mission 24/7, 365. There's
Right.
things that make that up, and then the impacts like I just spoke about, but then there's the wealth that you generate. And I don't mean just financial wealth, although that's really important. I believe it's your duty to be filthy rich. And the reason why is because that process of building the business is
Mhm.
very, very spiritual kind of process as much
Oh,
as it is
yes.
like educational and all those sorts of things. And so I think of wealth in terms of, wealth, cash, of course,
Mhm.
wealth of spirituality, wealth of relationships, and wealth in terms of the development that you have as a human being. There's a
Mhm.
richness in all of that. And then the third element is the contribution piece. And what's your contribution going to be to the planet? How are you going to use the money you make as muscle to invest in worthy causes? How do you contribute to yourself, to your loved ones, and then like the wider world? And so, as part of this, yes, we have the core business of us helping people transform lives through events. And a few years ago, I had this kind of brainwave idea that, like, what if we ran one of our events in space? And it was like a haha moment. I put it on our socials. I wasn't serious about it. It was just like, oh my God, this would be cool. And
Put
then
that out there into the universe.
yeah, and then the next week, one of our clients, who's now like one of our business partners, he sends me this article about a hotel that's being built in space that's going to host 280 guests, and I was like, well, okay, like this is the universe has provided. It's no longer a harebrained idea. I have to follow
No.
through. And originally, it was just going to be a business event in space, but I kind of had this realization about 6 months in. I'm like, rich white dude goes to space. Like that story's been told, right? And like when you think about the people that are going to like in that space, at that point there'd be like three people that are gone. Now, Elon Musk, amazing work that he does, but
Right.
interesting things have been happening with him lately. And then Bezos is one of them. Now, both of those people are either in that we absolutely love you or we absolutely hate you. And then
Right.
there's the cool uncle Richard Branson as well. And I was like, I don't necessarily want to be a part of that club. Richard Branson, like I really, really admire,
Uh-huh.
and all of them have contributed really, really like some incredible things to the planet. But
Absolutely.
I wanted to do something that was maybe a little bit more meaningful and maybe a
Mhm.
little bit less like just, oh yeah, let's do a business event in space. Like that's kind of dry. It's kind of like opaque, right? We have this
Yeah.
mission. We do all this donation through our work, like through our events. We donate to worthy causes. We gamify them. People type impact into a chat. We donate a week of clean drinking water. We're up to 5.5 million smiles or impacts across the UN Sustainable Development
Love
Goals.
that.
And I got to, what if we created the world's largest ever modern day Live Aid? Now, you'll remember in the 80s, they did Live Aid to fundraise money for
Yep.
AIDS. And
Yep.
all of these amazing people went to this concert, and Bono and all that sort of stuff. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this has legs now. And so what we're doing is we're creating the world's largest ever charity event, where we're basically going to do a broadcast from this hotel for 24 hours.
Oh my
And we're
god.
going to ask people on the planet to donate and to these worthy causes.
Wow.
We're going to create a humanity future fund, is what I'm calling it, out of that. Kind of like a sovereign wealth fund, which is what different countries have based on like their
Mhm.
resources and stuff like that, and they invest in
Right.
that to get returns for their populations. But this is
Right.
for all of humanity. And when we invest that money into the capital markets, it will grow every year. And so basically, we'll get a return of between 600 million and $1 billion every year out of those investments, which our foundation can extract and then donate to worthy causes forever. $1 billion
Wow.
every year in perpetuity. And so talk about beyond impact, right? And I'm going to hit up like governments and sovereign wealth funds and rich people to help us get to the 10 billion. But I hope in the broadcast, what we can do is we can bring together humanity and kind of move towards a common cause. And one of the things that I'm really, really clear on is that every single dollar that gets donated, Every single dollar that gets donated will go to a worthy cause, and I will fund the foundation. I want to be able to hand on heart say to people, the charitable world, the philanthropic world is a little bit broken, because if you some of the biggest charities in the world, I've heard one stat that 95% of the money you donate goes to running the charity or the NGO, as opposed to going to the cause on the ground. And so our thing is 100% of that money with the causes that we're going to have like a board of effective altruists that dictate where the money goes. Now, effective altruists look, where do you get the most social bang for your buck when you're investing in projects and donating cash and whatnot? And so 100% of that money will go to the cause on the ground, not to the organization that's running it. And with like the people that donate will be able to track it and see where it's going every year, so that they can kind of see where their money's being invested. The other really, really cool thing about this is that we're also going to be able to use the foundation to invest in people's big planet changing ideas. If they've got like a business that they're starting that is sustainable, that's doing something really cool on the planet, that's going to help move humanity forward. And so we create this ripple out effect of where we're working through other organizations, not just to donate, to give cash to causes that are maybe helping the 80% of the world's population that live on $10 per day, but in the organizations that are trying to make the planet better for everybody. And so when I think about this is what Simon Sinek would call an infinite game. I don't know where we're going to land with this. This hotel, they said it's going to be ready by 2027. I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm thinking if this is like a decade-long thing, and it's I don't know where we're going to end up, but it's worthy of the pursuit. It's worthy of these sorts of conversations, because I want to inspire people to kind of think a little bit bigger and broader than just directly what's in front of them and the things that are going on for them every single day.
You really take the sky's the limit to a different, perspective. That is amazing.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know where I want to take it from here. I'm just in awe of like everything that you're doing. This is amazing.
Thank you.
Truly amazing. Okay. Well, I mean, I have questions here. I guess we can kind of take it from that perspective. Going back to like your business Beyond Impact, and just in general, so you say, what if every time we do business, something good happens in the world? How did this single question spark your entire movement?
So we have an incredible philanthropic partner called B1G1. And this is who we do all of our giving through. And we were inspired by, they allow you to do like small cap donations. For example, you can donate 1 cent and it will go towards, say, a meal or something like that for people. And so what it allows people to do is to, through their APIs and stuff like that, they actually, you can like send an email and it will trigger a meal being donated. Or you can do something really, really cool like that. So we use them to kind of like to get our money to the worthy causes. And that they inspired this whole idea of 100% of the money going to the worthy cause. That's something that they do. And the owner of, the founder of that, Masami, she posited this question, like, what if every time we do business, something good happens in the world? And so I have 3 questions that I now live in. The first one is one of my own, and that's, what if, is how can I impact more lives today? That's like the core question of the day. And everything is framed through that. What if every time we do business, something good happens in the world is like a kind of a call to arms for people. For all of its faults, capitalism is still the best monetary system that we have in the world. It has lifted more people out of poverty. And despite what you would hear in the media, it is actually the best time in history to be alive. Now, that's not discounting that there's wealth inequality and people are struggling. Absolutely. And that's what we seek to do, is to address those things. We use the money we make as muscle to invest in those worthy causes. But it's the best time in history to be alive. And I think that's a really, really important thing to think about when you're thinking about capitalism. Now, there's a third question that kind of relates into this, and this is a modernized update to a quote from a guy called Buckminster Fuller, who was an old futurist, and he posited the idea of the world game. And so this question that I've kind of adapted is, what if we could make the world work for 100% of humanity 100% of the time without damaging the environment or harming people? Now, when you live in that question, anything is possible. Now, we know that the 1% have figured out how to make the world work for them, which is great, right? And you could argue that some of them have maybe harmed people and the environment. Like, let's be real here, they have. But there is instead of, I used to be someone that was like a social justice warrior that would be like, screw the rich, like I would hate them and everything like that, and eat the rich, all that sort of stuff. But what I realized through getting my own income and starting to build my business was that their wealth is instructive and informative. And so if we take the best parts of what they're doing and combine it with conscious capitalism, we can do some really, really good stuff in the world. Now, we know that trickle-down economics is a colossal failure, and it just enriches shareholders. But there is a really, really cool thing that a stat that I came across that was, for every $1 that is invested below the poverty line, another $5 of economic value is created. So what if we used the money and that we make, instead of enriching shareholders, we use that money to invest in these worthy causes? And then the people that you give the money to below the poverty line do a few things. They save money, they invest in education, they start businesses. And with that creates all of this $5 of economic value. They also contribute to their local communities by purchasing goods, all that sort of stuff. And so you have this kind of circular thing from the bottom up, where life no longer becomes a zero-sum game. It's not a zero-sum game, and everybody wins. And so this is how the movement kind of started within the business, and this is what we seek to inspire our clients to do.
You are just inspiring me like left and right. We'll have to talk after the show as well, because I'm very inspired. Wow.
Yes, I love having these conversations because I'm so passionate about it. It fires me up when we talk about it too.
No, I can tell, and I'm just like, my thoughts are going, I'm just like, this guy is just absolutely amazing. This is so cool. I love what you're doing. So Impact Live 2026 will set a world record for clean water donations. How do you engineer events that literally change lives while breaking records? How do you do it?
Okay, so this goes back to, I want to change how people think about events and how we gather. Most events suck. You go into a monotone gray room with like a speaker that's like, and then there's a pitch fairs, and they're just they treat you like a human ATM. And I'm like, no, that's not how this is done. AI is rising, and we're yelling at everyone online. We're more disconnected than ever. And I've just seen a stat that for the first time in history, every single age demographic is moving off social media. The social media use is declining. Now, what that means is there is a unique opportunity for people that are selling high-ticket products, that have a mission, that are doing something good. They've got a product that they're proud of, and it genuinely helps people out. There is a unique opportunity to go offline and to curate experiences that touch, move, and inspire them. Now, what I want to do with this is, we talk about this. So our event Impact, it first started in 2020 in Australia in the middle of the pandemic. It was my first $1 million event, and I wasn't intending to pitch at that event. It was virtual. We had 200 people online. We held them online for 16 hours a day. They were from 40 countries around the world. And I wrote down the offer on the second day. I was like, oh my God, this is actually working. Put it on a piece of paper, like the proverbial napkin, sent it to my team, presented the next day. And I fell off my chair when they told me we made $1 million. So what that has meant for us is that we've gotten really good at events in this space. And we're developing all of these incredible tools now. Like, I've got an event expert AI that's got a funnel converting at 48% to cold traffic for a free event, which is unheard of. We have nailed this. And we've now put 1,000 hours of Steve Jobs selling from stage in there, all of our IP. And so this event Impact that we're doing in person is called Impact, 1 event, 1 million, 1 weekend. And that's the hook for people. Right. Now, at that event, it's very, very different to what most people do at events. I mentioned before, revolutions disguised as gatherings. That's the thing that we are. That's what we're doing, right? And so when we think about revolutions disguised as gatherings, what we're really talking about is helping people to create revolutions in their spaces so that they position themselves as a category of one. At this event, though, we're going to have people design their marketing for their event on day one, and they will leave on day one with their event marketing launched to market. By the end of day 3, we're gamifying it. It's a competition for them. Who's got the most registrants for their event? Who's got the most money that they've made from ticket sales? Who's got the best page conversion? Affiliates sending for them. And what we prove to people at that is that a lot of people are very scared about events. They think it's a very heavy lift. It's a lot of work. But
Mhm.
with the right systems and the right tools, they're going to have access to our AI. We can pump out a landing page for an event now in 5 minutes. 5 minutes for the copy
Wow.
for a landing page.
Yeah.
And with those tools, we shorten the time to value for people so that they can just get the nasty work, or what would be used to be considered nasty work, out of the
Mhm.
way, and focus on designing the event so that it has a really powerful experience for people. Uh, with that, on day 2 of the event, they design their event, and they actually learn from experts on instructional design, event design, people that know how to curate experiences for their audiences, so that it's not a monotone speaker, it's not a pitch fest, but participants leave with something that, like, and they feel like, I am the luckiest person in the world to be in this room. And then on day
Mm.
3, we teach them how to sell. We teach them how to sell from stage. And here's the thing about selling at events. I am so unapologetic about selling because I'm on a mission. I need to raise capital. I need to get out there because I've got a mission, right? A lot of people really freak out about the selling side of things. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I teach is that when you're freaked out on stage and you're wrapped up in your own emotions, what you're not doing is actually, you are not you're not paying attention to the emotional state of the people that are in front of you who you are serving. And in fact, you're actually just treating them like a human ATM. Now,
Mhm.
how we do this though is that we do it through a really congruent sales process. I don't like straight line selling, none of that Jordan Belfort stuff like you must buy, you
Yeah.
must buy. It's a really powerful and uplifting process where you
Mm.
take people to what I call the line of decision the line of decision demarcation, where they either step forward and make a decision or step back and make an empowered no. Regardless, our job is to get them to make that decision. We don't know what it's taken the person to get to that event and to make
Mhm.
that decision. We want to enroll them. We want to empower them, regardless of which way they step, so that they can walk out of the event feeling like, that was one of the best experiences of my life. And funnily enough, when you approach sales like that, more people buy because
Yeah.
congruence with how you do it. And I'm blessed that I can get on stage on day 1 and say, hey, by lunchtime tomorrow, you're going to be begging for me to sell to you. Now that's quite direct. I would advocate
Very.
that everybody does that, but that level of trust, people know
Mhm.
that you're going to sell to them. People know that that's part of the process, and so if you
Right.
include them in that process and you include them in the mission side of things,
Mhm.
there's 5 things that people need to be able to put them into the buyer's pocket. That's the goal. But for people to feel confident and certain that working with you is going to support them, first of all, they need a vision, both for themselves, but they also need to understand your vision so they see how they fit into that vision. The
Mhm.
second thing you need is a plan. Obviously, you need a strategy to help them out. They need skills and tools to be able to help them execute that plan. They need
Mhm.
to be in the right environment, so a community to support them with that. And you also need to help them with the mindset because they're invariably going to come up with things along the way. Most offers these days focus entirely on the strategy, and you just need to implement this strategy. People don't necessarily pay attention to how that fits into the broader infrastructure of somebody's life. And so we create all of this live at the event. They go out, whether or not they work with us, they have the tools that they need to be able to implement the event. And I'm really happy because I'm working through them, knowing that they're going to go out and impact and change people's lives from a really strong position of congruence and impact and all of those sorts of things.
We could talk for hours on
We
this. I
could.
know that there's so many things that we can touch, and I hate that we got to cut this short, but I want people to know how they can find you and, support your cause and all of that.
Okay,
Tell them.
so I have just set up a brand new Instagram account called Brody Lee Live. It's got very few followers, and there's a very specific reason for that because I'm actually going to be documenting the process of me building this event live. We're going to sell 1,000
Oh.
tickets in 100 days. The tickets go on sale on December 9. And so from early December, we are going to take you along from the journey, and you're going to see behind the scenes of how we built this event. And what I said to myself, I was at an event recently. I was in the room, there was a speaker on, but something happened inside me and I started shaking and started sweating and I had to bolt from the room. I need to get out of here. And then I went to
No.
my hotel room and it's like I sat down and I was like, something went through my head and I wrote down on like the notepad that's there, and I'm like, okay, new country, no following, no list, 1,000 tickets, 100 days, document the whole thing. And I was like, I was terrified, and I sat down and I spat around and I was like, okay, no, I have to do this. And it's about putting everything on the line because I want to demonstrate to people that not only like am I legit, that's part of it, but also the process doesn't need to be complex. But I want to take them on the emotional journey because I understand the emotional journey they're going to go on, and I want them to see how we resolve the different things that come up as you build an event. So hopefully it gives them the skills, certainty, and confidence to create their events. So Brody Lee Live, don't judge me by the lack of characters, the followers. I'd love for you to follow us, and I'm not allowed to use my list. I'm not allowed to use my other socials. So that's the singular place that I'm going to be selling tickets. So if you want to come to the event, tickets go on sale on December 9. We're going to have a wait list up on there this week, actually, so that you can register and get on the wait list to purchase a ticket to the event.
I love it, Brody. All right, you guys heard it here. Brody Lee Live on Instagram. Go and follow. And we look forward to seeing your journey. And everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Brody, for being on.
Thank you.
And everybody, have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.